Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Casey.
Wow.
We have a
very special episode, as they say in entertainment.
This is a dream come true, and it feels something years in the making.
If I die today, I'm happy.
I hope I die today because it can't get any higher than this.
No,
this
it can't.
This is my happy death day to me.
and these days are like Groundhog Day, and I hope that this happens again tomorrow.
Oh, again and again.
We are sitting with, and by sitting with, I mean I'm looking at a gorgeous tanned woman, a woman that we proclaimed last night on the podcast, and her entire run and career as a housewife has been leading up to this moment. But, and not just saying this because she has joined us, we are with the top, most iconic, most beloved housewife, and that is Ms.
Sonja Tremont
Morgan.
Wow.
Thank you, Casey and Danielle. Oh my gosh. You guys are the wind beneath my sails today. Quarantined in the desert. I can't complain because, I can go outside and I don't even need 6 feet. I'm like, there's nobody around. But
have you seen a soul?
My little room gets so sad at times. So listening to you guys just cracks me up. It was so much fun on Watch What Happens Live with you.
Oh, it was so much fun. I had such a ball just doing we were wearing your iconic looks. I was in a bathing suit under my outfit, and Danielle was...
I had on your sort of casual in your bed tiara look.
Your classic.
The tiara with the white caftan with the collar popped. You looked great.
And reading glasses and black bra.
And bosoms up.
Bosom up.
Yeah.
Yes, it was very nice. You know what I remember, actually, Danielle? When you first came on Watch What Happens Live, I knew your names. You were very well known. And I was like, oh, there's those girls. That's what they look like. They're very attractive. And they're moms, which is a feat in itself. Mm-hmm. But you were wearing my red jumpsuit, the one that Luann took from my home.
Yes.
I said, try it on. And she just walked out the door with it. But you know how she is. You know Luann.
Danielle looked beautiful in it.
I did. It was a great look for me.
You're both gorgeous ladies. Andy texted me after the Watch What Happens Live and just said, oh, so much fun always. And I thanked him. And, he said we were quite good together. We're very funny together.
Look, when there's chemistry and alchemy, there is.
But I have to say, Sonja, you have chemistry and alchemy with everyone.
Yes, you do.
You really have... You can turn the dullest man into something to look at.
I'm just looking for the next dullest man.
Can I say,
everyone always says that. They say, oh, you need a funny guy. I'm like, no, I'm funny enough for both of us. I like a dry sense of humor around myself.
Speaking of dry.
Someone who laughs. That's all we need is to think we're funny.
Speaking
of
dry,
the three of us just need a guy that laughs at our moves,
Oh, yes. Now, speaking of dry, there is a man that I don't know if I would find him attractive, but there's something when he's around you, he turns into a sex beast. And that is Mr. Harry Dubin.
Oh, Lord. He was texting me and calling. He was calling, and it kept coming up, Harry Dubin. I'm here in the desert outside Palm Springs. I flew into Palm Springs, and I went to a spa to reel it in because I go off the rails, especially this past season. I came in hot,
Yeah, you did.
Just on fire right from the beginning. And so I'm staying at this little place and juicing and fasting, getting my immunities up. And Harry Dubin starts calling. I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm like, so I took a picture and I put it on my IG story. I said, should I answer? And 75% said, no.
I feel like Harry Dubin, even through this quarantine, the planes are grounded. He'd find his way to the desert if you picked up. I feel like he would crawl through the desert for you.
Yes, he would. He'd come on a camel.
Sonja, so we have just some questions, just some of our favorite moments. We'd love to kind of take it back and just first of all say thank you. I mean, you always give us something to put our eyes and our ears on. This past week, when you said, with no moment's notice, when you just said, wait, what did you say, Danielle?
You said,
I'm seeing
double and feeling
single.
Sonja, even you were, it seemed you had something to drink.
I'm seeing double, I'm feeling single.
But even through the lens of alcohol, that came out so perfectly. Like, you are still articulate even when you are 3 sheets. It's beautiful.
It's
How'd you
beautiful.
like the week before when I said to that guy, belly to belly, hey, who are we? Who are we?
Now, Sonja, when you go back, and what I don't ask this because I think you should be, I'm just curious. When you watch, do you feel like, oh, I wish I didn't do that? Or are you just loving it as much as we are and going with it?
It's a love-hate thing. You know, the other girls get the episode on Monday to watch it before it airs on Thursday, and I just can't bear to watch it because I won't sleep for 4 nights. But I when you sign up for Real Housewives reality TV, you know, I committed to my audience to show them everything. And when
you
we're
have
filming the show, it's to every little thing you're thinking inside, you amplify it. So if I'm acting out because Singer is taking us to a basic open house to show off this $39.9 million home, I'm going to get shit-faced, act out, you know, just act obnoxiously.
You're only human.
I really thought we should have stayed at her home and partied.
Now, how do you feel when she's like, I'm staying home tonight? Ramona Singer's like, I'm staying home. You're right. No one's more important than my friends. And then like 2 hours later is out the door. What are your feelings?
She does. It's classic Ramona amplified now, and it's getting really annoying. And she's always talking about these new friends. And I'm like, these are people using you to sell their house or to get you to go to their charity dinner for $1,500 a ticket or whatever. I've lived this life. I've been there. I've done the charities. I do them. So I don't really get impressed with all this. Yeah. So I think she should just stay at home with us and get naked and get in the pool.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, though. Off of Casey's question, you know, you say, oh, I won't sleep for 4 days, which I get that. You know, even when we do this podcast, sometimes I'm like, oh, God, what did I say? But is there a moment that you remember that if you could take back, you were like, ugh, that's one moment I wish that the cameras hadn't been on me.
Besides doing this podcast.
Casey, I'm a Sagittarius.
Okay.
I'd like to reel most of what I say back in, but I do notice that the viewers really love it. You know, I probably had just 2 negative comments on Twitter, maybe 3 on my Instagram saying, oh, your daughter must be so proud of you. And one person actually said, oh, no wonder your husband divorced you. I'm like, hello, first of all, who said he left me?
Yeah.
And do you even know me? How many times on the show have I said that the Morgan family is my family and how important it is to me and that my daughter's legacy is everything? The whole reason I do the show is to support myself and my daughter and her education. So how could anyone not even get that? So yeah, there's cringe worthy moments that I feel like, but like I said, I signed up to make people feel better. I mean, people who are watching say, oh, I've done that. I know how it feels.
And it's comedy too. I mean, it's hilarious. You're making people laugh and you're so nice spirited, which we were saying about you. Like you have genuine compassion for Lou and Dorinda and Ramona.
I love Ramona. She's going through a phase, man. She's not married any longer, so she's not part of that. That she's not Romario and Ramona anymore. So she wants to break into society when she's got one leg into a wheelchair. It's like, you don't do it that way. I grew up with these ladies. These ladies were my girlfriends before I married John Morgan. You know, it doesn't work that way.
I think the women give you way too hard of a time in terms of your kind of past marriage, and we obviously don't know, so we can't speak to it, but I actually think you're so humble in a nice way. Like when you were at the $30 million house, you're like, this is where I live now, and you're not impressed by this stuff. I feel like, what is their obsession with you, like denouncing or renouncing your family, which your daughter is your daughter? I don't what's the obsession?
I think it's called projection. People who haven't lived it, who think they're missing out on something, may say that I'm attached to it. But I've lived it way before I was married. I had my own homes and things and traveled the world and dated celebrities and rock stars and very wealthy
and John
men.
McEnroe. That was a shock that came out last night.
John is amazing. He's an Aquarius. Very jealous. Very controlling, but no, I've done it. I've dated royalty. I dated Prince Albert. I've dated rock stars. That's the thing. When I married my husband, it wasn't because he was some old coot with a lot of money. I loved him. So I'm honored that I married into the Morgan family and then I'm still a part of it. I don't know why people have to be so caught up into it because I'm not.
And how could you not be a part of a family that is your daughter's family as well? I mean, it makes no sense. And
well, did you see me pushing? I put something on my head and I was like, I'm in the blue book. To say I'm not family is ludicrous. There's a blue book with the, ancestry of the Morgans, and there I am.
We remember.
With the whole lineage.
They can't take that away from you.
But then also, don't you feel so good that you were able to make your own name even after that was done? You have made an even more of a name for yourself and more of a life for yourself, even more of an identity as just you, Sonja Tremont Morgan, beyond that you were able to cultivate a whole second, third chapter that's still moving on.
Well, that's the thing. I was very independent before I got married, and it's a miracle I even settled down in the first place. And I didn't go around telling people, I want to get married, I want to have babies. I fell in love with my husband, and I married him to be with him. And after we were married for a couple of years, we decided we wanted to have a baby. So yeah, for me to go back to just being me, I feel good about that. And I'm glad that you and Casey see that, Danielle. But I don't know why other people don't see it. They've been watching me since 2008.
It's
2020, folks. Some people had said that Leah was watching the show as a fan and she kind of grabbed onto that and is like, because she doesn't know us that well. Hopefully when she gets to know me a little better, she'll be eating those words that 1985 is over. I was in college in 1985.
Okay, I have a question. Just shifting gears. When you said, you signed up for this to put your entire life out there, which thank you for your service, by the way.
Yes.
You're an American hero. But I have a question. How do you feel when you're seeing things in Beverly Hills happening with Lisa Vanderump suddenly being unwilling to show herself, or Denise Richards storming off the set because they found things out about Brandi Glanville, just in terms of their contract and what they signed on to do? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that I don't agree with. I feel like, we have a commitment to the public and to share and make them, people watch to either vent about their own pain, and they're called haters. I don't like to say haters. I like to kind of rise above it and say someone's hurting at home. And so they want to feel better about themselves and take it out on me. Like when I pick up the New York Post, I read something, I say, well, at least I'm not being locked up for that, So, yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I think you have to, share everything with the viewer that you can.
Do you have any relationship?
On that note, I don't have my daughter on the show because she didn't sign up for it.
Exactly.
Neither did the rest.
You never bring her on the show. I would say you don't involve her at all. On that same note, though, are you friends with any of the women from other cities?
Oh, I'm friends with so many of the other walks of life, we must say, because we're all so different. You know who's texting me today is Therese Judas. She's like, do you have a man? I'm like, ha, ha, ha. I said, you know what? I love you. I said, you must be getting something and you want me to be happy too. And she's like, no, I don't have anyone. I'm like, oh, I misread it. I like Therese. I like her strength. She grew up a lot over the years. She had a very sheltered childhood. She wanted to go to FIT, where I went to school. So you're right. I do connect with people on so many different levels. I'm friends with Camille. I'm friends with Lisa. I'm friends with Kyle. I'm friends with Margaret.
You really are. You don't judge anyone. The only person that you seem to have a little bit of a thing with is Tinsley. She seems triggering in a sense. And I don't
judge Tinsley. What I don't like is duplicitousness or lying. If someone lies to me, like when I threatened to walk off the reunion with Andy, it was because I felt Dorinda wasn't showing all her cards and being truthful with the viewer. Being blocked from going on a trip to, an all-cast trip to the Berkshires.
Oh, that was so cruel. Cruel.
That's how I get paid as a, divorced mom. And also, not being truthful about what she was doing with John when Bethany had brought up the white wedding or whatever. See, I feel like when you come on the show, and again, Dorinda's come so far since she's first come on the show. And to come back to Tinsley, I felt she wasn't upfront with me. She came to live with me behind closed doors to get her life back and her independence. and not to be codependent on a guy and to work on her brand, which is what I had invited her to do, not to come to New York to meet another guy to take care of her. But it all ended up well, I hope. She's happy now, and if this wedding goes through and they stay married for life or, you know, a good 20 years, I'm happy for her.
What did you mean, like, when you were saying this last passing week where you were like, you were saying, like, I worked when I was a wife. Like, I was involved. I knew where the shoe repair was. What do you mean when you don't feel like Tinsley isn't? Like, she didn't do that?
Well, yeah. Well, to go back to Tinsley, she was being duplicitous because she came to stay with me, and then she told all the girls that I was a terrible host and that, you know, I was not nice to her, and it wasn't true.
Yeah.
I mean, who gets to stay in a fucking beautiful townhouse for free?
Not me.
How can I get to that townhouse? Housekeeper or anything?
Yeah.
How can I stay at your townhouse? Is it Airbnb? Where
well,
do I
there's plenty of room. Right now I have my intern living there with my poodle. So anytime there's, you know, come stay at the house.
Okay. What did you feel when I saw Luann washing Marley in the sink? I've never laughed so hard.
I missed the first half of that episode. I know everybody gets it on Monday. My co-stars have been saying it's a great episode. I came in halfway, but I know that she was getting a massage by my groomer. That's even funnier.
Sonja, you have to see it. It's truly something what Luann was up to on the tennis court and then washing Marley. I've never seen her with love, like, do any bit of work. So to see her in there washing your dog, to be near the dog groomer was wonderful.
She seems to have, and she just has a radar for schlong, if I may say that.
She has a radar for my schlong. As Bethany and I am the curator of cock. It's just uncanny. I mean, Luann is the truffle pig to my truffles. She's just on my dick all the time. So if any guy comes in, she's like, oh.
Even your dog groomer, like, she was on your dog's dick. It was crazy.
Yeah, and watch your dog.
Well, those guys have been in my life for, let's see, Marley's already 8. My Milu died at 18. These guys have been in my life 20 years.
Yeah.
They're Team Sonja. The dog store. That's what it's called. The dog store. So back to Tinsley, you were asking me. I know I vacillate all over the place.
No.
Tinsley, you were saying, like, she's talking about trophy wife. It's not about age.
Mm-hmm.
A trophy wife, the definition is if you go out to lunch and shop, and when she was staying with me, she didn't know where the dry cleaner was in our neighborhood. She lived there with her husband. She didn't know where the shoe repair was. That is a trophy wife.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're a real partner, you pack your husband's suitcase, you know where his glasses are, you match his socks, and you do contracts together, business deals together, you put together parties and cocktails at home, you clean, you instruct the housekeeper. You don't ask the housekeeper to do everything for you. You know what I'm saying? I was a real partner. I ran 5 homes or 7 homes. 5 homes and a yacht, and 75 in help, 13 in crew. And we did deals together. We made money together. So I was not a trophy wife. A trophy is arm candy.
Yeah.
I was just candy.
You were just candy.
Just sweet as candy.
Who I'm going to say I don't love, and I'm just going to be honest, I didn't love the way Elise was speaking to you. I feel a dark undercurrent there. And I'm just throwing that out there. You don't have to respond. And also what happened with Elise and her maid.
Collectively, after filming with Elise for a while, just before we were going on the trip, all the girls had said to me, you know, Sonja, we know you were, you know, so nice with Elise, but she has a dark undercurrent, just like you said. You nailed it. That's what they felt. So they were like, we don't want a wet blanket on the trip. I was like, okay. You know, I was like, I see what you're saying. That was out of nowhere to say that I was an accessory. I just got done making a comment that when my husband and I would go on trips, he'd say, oh, I want to take you shopping. I would get literally diarrhea, red in the face. When someone buys me a gift, I'm always like embarrassed when they spend money on me. I'm not that kind of gold digging kind of chick.
That's
you don't
right,
see
yeah.
me out running. I'm not out there looking for a guy to take care of me, sort of thing.
No, I do think you are misread in that way. I really do. I just thought that was
weird. You don't see me out there looking for older guys or a guy that has money to take care of me. You see me with younger guys while I'm waiting to get my independence back.
Yeah.
I have a question, though, because you are so independent now. Do you think you could or even want to settle down? I think You're so independent. You so know who you are. You so have your life the way you like it. Do you want someone
Having just met you.
having just met you? But I've known you for years.
We've known you for a long time, Sonja. You just haven't known us.
Yes.
Oh, we're soul sisters. This is the thing. I was very independent when my husband, he was tenacious. He got me to, I had 3 guys asking me to marry them at that point, 3.5. And I had the other one coming in. And then my husband asked me to marry him. And I said, yes. But we were 2 very independent people who were reclusive. I'm an introvert. People don't know that about me. I have a Pisces moon. I'm very introverted. I spend time alone. So to live with him on a private island or at 12,000 feet in a 20,000 square foot home together or on a private yacht is fine. We were both loners together. Gardening all day, futzing around the house. It's what we like to do together. So, yeah, I could see myself married again with the right person who has their own life, their own interests and friends group, but not someone. I love Harry dearly, but I'm allergic to him now. He wants to be a housewife whore. He wants to be on the show. He wants to stick it in everyone. I just can't. My ex would not be with someone, just name one of the most beautiful women in the world. He's a very discerning type. He would not be with someone just because they were gorgeous.
And I'm sorry to go back, but what does your daughter think it's fun, the show that you're on? Does she like it? Does she watch?
You know what? She's a smart girl. She's worldly. She's, straight A student. She's a scholar. And she gets its pop culture, and she knows that sex and violence sells. She has a very good grip on how the world of media works, and that everything is amplified that we project onto the screen, and it's chopped up into a very intense show for 45 minutes. So yeah, she doesn't watch it, no, because she's my daughter. We have a different life together. She has a very private lifestyle. So she gets it though.
Now, you're sort of one of the OGs of New York at this point. You and Ramona and Luann have been there the longest and the most steadfast, but there have been some names in the past. Do you remember? Do you miss some of these girls that have
Sonia's shaking her head on the Zoom before we've even gotten to any names.
Do you think of Barb? Do you think of Sydney's Bar Shop?
Do you think of Yummy Tummy?
No. You know what? That's why they're not on the show anymore, because it's like, I knew Luann for 7 years before she came on the show. And even before I knew her ex-husband and his family. And I knew them in Stad and in the Hamptons and this world, right, that I lived in. And I know people that know the De Lesseps and Luann really well. It was her world and his world. I knew Ramona since we were young girls, starting our own businesses, working out at the Vertical Club, looking like Cheryl Tiegs or close to it. The Jane Fonda look. We just are birds of a feather. And then you take Tinsley even. Tinsley was on the junior committee of my philanthropy, different organizations that I would raise money for, different charities. So there's a certain glue there. Some of the people I felt like were just transplants almost. They weren't really glue. And that's the thing about Tinsley. I mean, that's the thing about Leah. Leah's a real vibrant part of Manhattan, even if she's not a part of our group per se, because I never heard of her before. She is a New Yorker. She's not a transplant. And she's intelligent. You can have a conversation with her. And she's up to date on politics. She's not judgmental. She's not biased. So you can have your own opinion, which is unusual when you want to talk about politics these days. But damn, when that girl drinks, she makes me look sane almost.
Woo!
That was a wild.
It's the greatest thing I've ever heard. She was like, I won't be drinking. I'm having some wine. I'm throwing tiki torches. Like, it just escalated. My clothes are off. I've got wings on my vagina. It
went 0 to 60. It was intense and beautiful.
It was beautiful. Something to behold.
I loved when Tinsley said, I think she'll be fine if she's drinking with me. She's not going to get out of control. And then you see her running naked.
Yes. Meanwhile, you're on the toilet. She's coming to you.
That scene of you on the toilet and then her like, it was too good.
There's like zero shame in my game anymore.
But thank you for that.
Yeah,
because it really gives us a laugh and we're crying. We're feeling what you're feeling. I mean, we feel all the ups, the downs. We're on the Sonja Morgan train.
And what I want to say, what I'm liking about this season in particular is that you are a perfect bridge to kind of the two girls naked in the pool. And then as our friend Greg Bennett said, the kind of first wives club conversation happening in the kitchen, with Dorinda crying. It's like you're the bridge between the two worlds a bit. And it's really fun to see you playing both sides.
I can't believe it, Casey. That is so intuitive of you. Did you notice even in the promo shots, they put me between the two young girls, but I'm definitely one of the OGs, one of the old ladies too.
Because you have a light energy, energetically, like I'm talking like really energetically. You can you have a very nice light energy. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a judgmental person, first of all, but also as a Sagittarius, I'm always a kid at heart. So I got no problem getting dirty with the kids. And like I said, I met Leah to love her, and I always will love Tinsley. She gets on my nerves sometimes because I'm very heavy-handed and controlling of her because I want her to be well. I don't want her to go down that same path to be codependent with a man, but what can I do?
Will you go to her wedding?
Oh, God, yes. I will be very happy to go to the wedding. I'm sure Leah will be there.
Will you be a flower girl? Will you be a flower girl in the wedding?
No, God, no.
I have a question.
I got a lot of flack for the tattoo comment, which I found strange.
Well, that didn't feel very you because you are such an unjudgmental person and you are so open-minded that the tattoo thing just didn't feel like it was on brand for you. Not that it really matters. Everybody has an opinion. It just didn't feel on brand. I think that's what people were reacting to.
I'd have to listen to what I said exactly, but I didn't say I don't like people with tattoos. I don't like tattoos. I'm all about beauty and, I just think if you have a beautiful body and you love yourself, why would you want to put tattoos on it? And I know that most people my age, and this is where I do show the age difference between me and Aaliyah, is, my age, you don't do that because too many of us grew up, and then wanted them removed. And I had said to you on Watch Happens Live, the first thing Aaliyah said to me is, I want to get some of them removed. Well, that's not so easy. And
it's not so easy with the one downstairs.
No,
I'll tell you that. Not so easy with
wings.
With that one.
And also,
Sonja, I want to ask
my daughter to get tattoos. So I just find
thank God we don't have them.
Also, that my viewer, some of them said, "Oh, I always liked you, but if you don't like tattoos, you must not like me." And I'm like, "Come on, guys."
Oh Lord.
It's a little deeper than that. If I don't like tattoos for me and I don't want to fuck someone with that tattoo, doesn't mean I don't like you and doesn't mean I don't like the guy with the tattoo. I also don't like snoring. But, when I get a guy that snores, I say, go get it taken care of. And I hate bad breath, so fix your teeth while you're at it. It's like, I am entitled to an opinion, right?
Yeah. You absolutely are. Now, I have a quick question, and just to touch on it briefly, but I feel like we know a lot about you as a Morgan, but what were your parents like?
Oh, very conservative, very discreet, old line, my name, you probably know it from Boston and, the Tremont Avenue in the Bronx and all that, just very old line, quiet people, keep to themselves, like to travel, interested in other cultures. Farm.
And you had a good relationship with them?
My parents divorced when I was young. My mom remarried. I have siblings who I love. I'm very close to. They live all over the place, but we definitely like to be on a farm with horses and lots of animals, always. Outdoorsy types. Yep.
Wow. Okay, thank you. I was just always curious about that.
I'm very recreative.
I have a question.
But I'll tell you, right now I'm in the desert.
I'm shocked to hear that.
I'm in the desert, but I can go for a walk and be in the sun. And
have you seen a soul?
Not really.
I just wanted.
When are you going to fly home?
When I go on a food run, I see people, and I actually I'm very sensitive, so I get very depressed on the food runs because you see people who are struggling, and it's just, it's hard. I don't know that I can handle New York right now because,
it's
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I have a question. Will you remind me one of my favorite moments, because you exploded onto the whole scene. I remember just like the moment you walked in like a firecracker, and then, you know, we've gotten so many gems from you. We've gotten the dog funeral. You know, we've got, remember when remind me when you were like living out of your bed, with the plastic around the sides, were you painting or was there fumigation? What was happening?
That was, I had a renovation going on, like redoing the house, the first renovation.
Yes, okay.
Recently I did like new decorations, you know, for renters. Everything white. Mm-hmm. But that was an actual renovation, like tearing down ceilings and all that stuff. So I was taped into my bed with all plastic. So I was working from my bed.
I'll never forget it.
Which is fine.
You were quarantined. Yeah.
It was. Are you in touch?
A funny
image.
Those
old times. Are you in touch with Pickles?
Pickles, she did her internship, went home. She came back. That didn't work out. Now she's back in, she's from Brussels. Okay. I know she's Ethiopian, so she looks like she may be from over there, but no, she actually was adopted by a Belgian family. So she has quite the life. When she was interning with me, she was restoring paintings at Christie's. So she was wonderful.
And how do you find your interns?
Wonderful with my daughter.
How do you find your interns?
Normally people find me, but you know, the colleges, the people are looking for things to put on their resume. So she got a lot of experience with me. She really enjoyed the Morgan Library and different things like that, the Metropolitan.
So do you tell like a Barnard or an NYU or something like, hey, I'm looking for an intern, and they filter it that way? Is that how you find them?
Yeah. So anything from social media interns to
How many interns do you have now?
Well, I used to keep more before, but it's a lot to juggle. And now that my fashion business is so busy, you know, I can't really handle as many interns because I enjoy the give and take, but it's a lot of management. So yeah, more employees now, less interns. So it's very gratifying to have an intern because they keep you young and they teach you things about pop culture. I don't even know half the people out there that DM me, okay? And I don't know what they plan to do with me, but I do start with a driver's license. It's like
plan to do with me.
What are they going to do with you, Sonja?
Sonja, talk to us about Bethany, because one interesting thing that happened, I think it was 2 seasons ago or last season, was when you kind of developed that like friendship between the two of you. And I'm just kind of curious because I also felt like she put you down a lot, and I'm just curious where that friendship stands. Do you miss her on the show? Do you think she's watching the show?
She did put me down sometimes, but I think tough love is something I respect. I'm Sagittarius and very truthful, so I'd rather have someone give me the truth than blow smoke up my butt. And also, having lived in Europe like nearly all my life, you think about like living in Italy or in France, we just put it out there and move on, which is another reason I really appreciate Dorinda. I don't like to be taken down the path of mystery and bullshit and have things said behind my back. So with Bethany, I always liked that direct approach, except the one time that she didn't understand that the Tipsy Girl, that wasn't my trademark. It was a licensing deal. They already had called it Tipsy Girl, and she took offense. We got through that, which told me that we really did care about each other. She was very protective of me, and I think that's why she was so hurt about it. And also, she had a bug put in her ear by Ramona and Dorinda, and you know, I felt there was jealousy there over the fact that I had those businesses and do have these businesses, but whatever, I have to keep doing.
Are you still in touch with her?
Yeah, you know, we actually had a phone call recently, which was nice because I didn't want to bother her. I was worried that she was going to get her sick. I was worried about Bethany recently again, that, you know, she was going to get herself sick and run down with her crisis management work. And
yeah, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I really honor that in her. But the thing is, she called me and I said, oh, thanks for ringing. I didn't want to bother you right now because she has Bryn and hunkered down and doing her crisis work. But she was worried about me. And I was like, I'm fine. You know, I'm doing me.
You're like, I'm in the desert.
Yeah, I'm out in the desert.
I'm not near a living
My daughter's
soul.
fine. But a season can be tough when you film for 5 months and not eating well, not sleeping well, drinking a lot. And I'm fragile. Like I said, I don't watch the show because I'm very sensitive. So she just was worried about me. I said, I'm fine. I'm good.
That's nice. Is she watching the show, do you think, this season?
I don't think so. I think that she's watching headlines about it out of curiosity as a businesswoman. But I think she's very focused on her business now. She's doing an HBO thing. And again, right now, this climate, I think all of us are very focused on our loved ones. And so she has, her daughter. That's everything.
Speaking of concern, do you worry about Lou? Now, like there was, Lou is on the mend. She's not drinking, but she did say, I'm not going to drink again. And she did say, and then Dorinda sort of doing that thing where she's like, hey, have a drink. I almost got you. Like, how do you feel about that?
That was shocking.
Listen, Luann has a wooden leg, and I never worried about her drinking. I worry about me hanging out with Lou, keeping up with her. Okay. The woman's 6 feet tall. What happened to her was circumstance. She was emotionally vulnerable after the divorce with Tom, and she put herself out there to be humiliated because she made me and Ramona out to be not important in Tom's life, and that she was the all-important Sadie about to be married lady. So I think that's why when she went to Palm Beach, she lost her shit. I'm not worried about her drinking again. I think she's in a very good place now.
Were you shocked when you saw that news story and the footage of her with the police officer?
Yes.
Do you remember where you were? I remember where I was.
I remember I was.
Yeah, I don't remember where I was, and it wasn't like exactly like the day that Diana crashed or 911, but I don't remember where I was when I read it, but I was pretty freaked out. I was worried for Luann, and I personally was very upset that whoever she was with then wasn't with her to pick her up at the police station the next day. I mean, she's not the first freaking member of the royal family to be busted, okay? Please.
No.
And I do.
Now, as we saw all your mugshots last week, that was a great touch.
Yes.
You looked gorgeous in yours. P.S.
What were you arrested for? I couldn't think or remember.
When you get pulled over and they say, how many drinks have you had? You never say one. You say none. Okay, guys? Whoever's listening.
Okay.
Because I had one big
That's a public service
spritzer, announcement. And I told them, I've only had one big spritzer, which meant club soda with a top off of a little splash of white wine. And, there I was.
Maybe they didn't like to hear the big.
There I was with all the in crowd, of Southampton in the lockup. But I can tell you, Ramona wasn't there because she wasn't invited to that party.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Slam.
I thought, did you see
okay,
my
last.
I said, you know what? I got to nail Ramona for this one. Not that she cares, but, she invites us to the house. I'm sure she's getting a kickback if he sells it. Mr. Farrell Contracting.
Crazy.
But it's like, don't pretend this party's for you and to all your friends and like this is the in place to be. The best place to be was at Ramona's house, getting naked in the pool,
100%. Okay, question for you. Are you worried about Dorinda?
I always worry about all the girls, including myself, but Dorinda is definitely, for me, getting in touch with her feelings now. You see that she's broken off with John, which means no more crutch, no more distraction. Daughter's moved out of the home. No spoilers, but that so far. So it's about Dorinda now, getting in touch with her feelings and where this anger's coming from. You've seen that in the spoilers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what about Tom? Have you seen Tom? Is it about Tom?
Is it about Tom? I mean, is it ever about Tom? Is it ever about any of these guys? Is it about Harry? No, there's always going to be those guys. They come and go, but it's the women. It's about the women and learning from our experiences. I see Tom because I have a couple of girlfriends that are good friends with him. And don't forget, Tom was my friend. So, of course,
never forget.
He's in my inner circle. And so I always see him at different dinners and parties. And by the way, Ramona's not there. I'm not going to get over her saying, Sonja's not invited. Okay. That's a big.
How did you get over when you were at that charity with Ramona last season?
Oh
I
my
believe it
God.
was. And she was like, I can't sit with you. That thing I thought was disgusting.
Yeah, she said she couldn't sit with Leah at the after the charity or something, or then she went to the. Oh, I know. I go to my friend Denise Rich's Rose Ball every year, and I grew up with these ladies way before I was married. And Ramona's never been on the yacht with them or at their home or private dinners. And so she always says, oh, she's my friend. She's my friend. Well, yeah, you're a friend if you buy a $1,500 ticket along with the other 2,000 people. But she didn't sit with Dorinda. And I sat with the Lorber family because their CEO was being honored, and he's a very good friend of mine, Michael Lorber. I knew that Ramona would have to be Velcroed to her seat to have someone sitting next to you. So,
yeah.
So poor Dorinda.
Right. Oh, yeah. Was that Dorinda?
That was Dorinda.
That was Dorinda. I don't know why I remembered that as being you, and I was very hurt, but I'll let it slide.
Poor
Yeah.
Dorinda was left there with empty
That was
seats.
horrible.
It was
Awful.
horrible. And it's the
Awful.
same thing taking us to that, $40 million home and try to treat.
That home was.
She goes, I have to lower
ridiculous.
myself for you, and then I have to elevate myself.
That was insane.
That was insane. But that's
Again.
Ramona, and I think people have different opinions of both of you. Really quick, and we will let you go soon. Have you had sex with Brandi Glanville?
With who?
Brandi Glanville.
Oh, I've never had sex with her, no.
No, I'm kidding. What do you make of the Denise Richards, Brandi Glanville of it all coming up on Beverly Hills?
Well, I just told you I didn't see half of my own episode last night, so you guys are nuts if you think I watched Beverly Hills.
Okay, look, I get it. We'll keep you
and
posted.
that is what we call touche.
Yes.
That
At
is
least
what
somebody
we call
knows.
touche.
Somebody knows.
Sonja, thank you so much for doing this. This was so much fun.
I love you,
You're
girls.
a treat, a treasure. And
You're a treasure. That's right. You really
we're
are a
happy you're-
national treasure in these
And we're
times.
happy you're safe and very dry in the desert. I hope you get
And I'm happy you've got your juice and you're juicing and you look fabulous.
And I hope you get some good dick, as you say you want before you die.
I hope you catch a dick out there in the desert.
Slim to none.
Catch a
Slim
dick.
to none. But
Catch
I
a jackrabbit.
I believe in you, Sonja. I believe in you.
I believe
You can catch some desert dick, Sonja. Catch that desert dick.
I'm just going to stay dry and get ready for that reunion because, as you know, we're heating up already.
Ruh-roh.
So
Zoom
excited.
Union. It's coming. Ruh-roh. Thank you so much,
I'm
Sonja,
not
for
an
doing this. This has been a
accessory.
silver lining,
Big kisses.
not an
No.
accessory.
You're the
Big
whole
kisses.
outfit.
Yes. Oh, check out
Goodbye,
my website,
Sonja.
guys.
Thank
Go
you.
to SonjaMorganNewYork.com and see my fashions because, the fashion show is in the next episode 5, Fashion Week 2019. And you saw my first fashion show 2015. So I want to thank all the viewers out there who have followed me through all my ups and downs. As crazy as they get, I stayed very focused on my dream, lived in the moment, and I have a 5-year plan. And that's all I suggest for anyone to have.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I
it.
love it. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.